Welcome to Believe in Chargers, remote locations for both Lorenzo Neal and me, Matt Money Smith, as we're on the road doing this while the Chargers are getting set to play the Patriots on Saturday. Got moved from a Sunday game into one of the three big-time Saturday win and in playoff contests. It's first the Chargers. They beat the Patriots low. They are in the playoffs. It is that simple. They don't need help from anyone. They can take care of their own business. They're playing a 3-win team, and it's a 3-win team with a rookie quarterback who's gotten better over the course of the season. And it just doesn't necessarily feel like it's that lopsided of a matchup with how darn good Drake May has been playing these last few weeks.
It really isn't. I think it's a great matchup. I think when you think about what the Patriots have been able to do, and you just watch them in the last couple outings, they went to Buffalo and almost beat the number 2 seed in the Buffalo Bills and took them toe-to-toe and just was physical. They played hard. So you had a team that's not going to quit. You know, they're young. They got a young quarterback, but they are a team that, you know, they can play in spurts, and they have put a lot of teams on notice and made some ball games of this. It's just great that the Chargers said, let's take care of business. Think about a week ago, you and I are sitting, we're thinking, God, you sit the guys, you wait and give them a 4-day week and just win the next 2. And we said, you know what, let's go for it. Think about how the tides have swung. Now you have a Denver team. All they needed to do was just win that game, win, and they're in. Now you're in a situation where no one in the AFC, there's a team that no one wants to play. And here's a guy that people should be talking about with MVP, but no one's talking about him. And that's no more other than Joe Burrows.
Yeah.
If you think about Joe Burrows and the Cincinnati Bengals, they got hot at the right time. Maybe it's going to be one game too late, because I think Kansas City is going to throw that game to Denver. They're not going to play anyone, because Kansas City, Mahomes know there's a guy that can walk into that stadium and he's not afraid of Joe Cool. He's not afraid of Mahomes, and that's Joe Cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Look, first thing, the Bengals will have to take care of business, but it's in Cincinnati. It's a Cincinnati offense that's been as explosive as any in the league. And, you know, as we try to start to project the playoffs, I think look, there's stuff that's out of your control, stuff that's in your control. What's in the Chargers' control will be interesting because you win this game versus the Patriots, and then you have an opportunity to decide if, let's just say the Chargers win. They beat the Patriots, right? They're 10-6. Now let's say the Bengals let's say the Broncos beat the Bengals, and they're in. And now, you know, no matter what, you are locked perhaps into, you can't get the 7. You're locked into the 6. Well, now what happens if Pittsburgh wins? You know, if they play early and they win, now you can decide to get a bye. You can say, whatever, we can rest our guys, and we don't have to worry about beating the Raiders. We're locked into the 6th spot. There's nowhere else for us to go. We're either going to play the Ravens or the Bills or whoever it is that number 2, that number 3 hole, and that'll be that.
So now, with that, let me stop here, Money, because the listeners probably want to know as well. So Chargers win this week.
Yes.
And Denver, you say, win this week. Both of them are in the playoffs. It's unmutable. Nothing can change that. If both these two teams win, those would be the 2 wild cards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said Denver. I'm sorry. I meant if Cincinnati wins this week. Okay. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, Cincinnati wins this week and the Chargers win this week, then they are locked into at least
6 and 7.
Yeah, the best. I probably did it backwards. Sorry. The best way for me to put it is they can still get the 5. If the Steelers slide continues, let's say the Bengals beat the Broncos this week, then they're playing the Steelers to finish 9-8 to try to get that 7 seed if the Chiefs can help them out. Well, now the Chargers have a shot at the 5. And who wouldn't want the 5? Instead of going to Buffalo, to Baltimore, you can end up going to Houston indoors, climate controlled, 2-hour, 2.5 hour flight instead of a 5-hour flight. Like that would be a huge win.
Oh, Money, I think that's how it's going to play out, because like in that Cincinnati and the Steelers play in Cincinnati the last week. Yeah. If you look at the way that the Steelers are playing, that is possible and probable. When you think the way the Steelers is this slide from grace. They're not playing well at all, defensively and offensively. And you look at Cincinnati, the way they're playing. So you're talking about the Chargers can go from friggin' being number 7 to number 5. And you saw what Houston's a shell of itself. They're off.
That game's in Pittsburgh, Lo. Sorry. That game is in Pittsburgh. But still.
They don't. It doesn't. And in the way that Houston's playing, their inability to score, the quarterback's getting sacked, they're getting hit. So that would be an interesting scenario too. But the biggest thing is we're here.
Right.
The Chargers are here. They're at the pivot to just win this game.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anybody help. You don't have to worry about winning the following week. You win this game. Now you can say, look, if we want to rest guys, we can. Hey, even if we want to barely win, if whatever happens with Cincinnati, if they win, hey, look, now we can put the foot to the throttle and go ahead and put the Raiders on notice because we want the 5 seed. Because like you said, anything can happen. To be able to play Houston, though, in a perfect world, that's the matchup you want because Houston has struggled mightily this year.
Yeah, for me, and I just screwed it up, stumbled out of the gate trying to get all that stuff explained.
Christmas time, baby. It's Christmas time.
Exactly.
You got the hat on, the lid on.
I know, right? I got my my winter
I love
cap
that, by the way.
that you can purchase in the Chargers team store. That's where I got it. And none of the guys on the team were like, dude, where'd you get that? I was like, bought it in the team store. And our equipment guy, Smitty's like, I got to get some of those. I was like, yeah, you do. It's actually pretty warm and it's super comfy. All right. I feel like I've done my pitch because it's a little hot in here. I got it's cranking. It's 22 degrees outside and about 90 in my room. Bet Online. We love Bet Online. They are the world's most trusted betting platform. Your number one source for online betting. Earliest odds, in-game live betting. Bet Online gets you all the action, ability to watch games as they happen and bet on games as they are happening. It's the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. Get over to Bet Online. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. It's your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online. The games start here. So I'm going to try to reset after that disaster of me explaining all the different playoff scenarios. I think back to 2017, Lo, when they stumbled out of the gate 0-4. And then Anthony Lynn was able to right that ship in New York, get that victory. And they played really good football from there on out. They went 9-3 the rest of the way. And in week 18, we're at Dignity Health Sports Center, or maybe it was StubHub back in that day. And they win their final game, and they're sitting in the locker room watching. I think it was Titans-Bills, if I remember right. And the Bills won, and they punched their ticket into the playoff for the first time, and I don't know how long. And the way the tiebreakers worked out, Chargers went home. And it's like, yeah, man, think about those missed field goals in overtime in Denver. You think about the missed field goal against Miami, and like you're playing through all these scenarios of, we lost this game, we shouldn't have lost that game, we could have won this game, and your fate isn't in your own hands. I love that now at the end of the year, not only do they have an opportunity to punch their ticket into the playoffs with a win in New England on Saturday, but also if they win out, they've got a real shot to have a pretty darn good path. You know, just the way the AFC has managed to shake out, you end up with a game where you don't have to go to Buffalo, you don't have to go to Baltimore. You can end up going, like we said, to indoors in Houston the second week of January for a wild card game against a team that's been reeling as of late. And offensively, their offensive line has been a bit of a mess. CJ Stroud is nowhere near the player that he was his rookie season. And it would line up real nice for the Chargers to maybe continue to get a little momentum. You win your final 3 games of the year. You win a wild card game. Now you're on a 4-game win streak and maybe end up going to Kansas City for that third matchup against a team that could have a lot of players on 24 days rest if they choose to sit them against the Broncos in week 18 to get healthy and stuff. I mean, 24 days off. It's like college football going into the bowl season, right?
No question. 24 days is a lot. And that's why I think Andy's going to play these guys. I don't think he's going to sit them in Denver because, like you said, that's just too many days rest for a team, especially when you look at Kansas City, a team that, you know, they're like a cat. They have 9 lives. You can't wait to say, okay, they're going to get beat. You're like, okay, they're done. Put a fork in them. They can't score. They're inconsistent. They're you know, their offense is sputtering around. Oh my goodness! And just when you think hey, money, you're like, here goes these son of a guns again. It's like Kelsey show up the whole year, and all of a sudden, here are Mahomes. Here they go. You know, Isaiah, the running back. You have Pacheco. You're looking at the way that friggin' the young rookies playing. Now you just got your receiver back that's worthy. It's just
Hollywood Brown. Yeah.
Yes, it's Hollywood Brown back, and just the spacing on the field with those guys now. You just see it opened up another level for this offense. So they're still, and unfortunately, they're still the team to beat.
Oh yeah, no. The one thing I would say kind of be careful because like it seems like all the Kansas City people are puffing their chest out and saying, look, you should. You're the one seed. You've got one loss. They looked really good against the Steelers in a primetime game on Christmas or a Christmas Day game when the eyes of the world were on them. But Pittsburgh scored 13 points against Philadelphia, 17 points against Baltimore, 10 against Kansas City. They have been – it's not like they were a buzzsaw and they were streaking and Kansas City put them in their place. No, they just continued their issues, and Russell Wilson has really struggled as of late. So while I'm willing to acknowledge, yeah, they figured a little something out by kicking Joe Thuney out to tackle because their tackles have been so terrible. He's not nearly as bad as either of those guys. So now you can kind of shift your protections to the other side and to Taylor. And he's been holding his own. Well, now let's see when you play a formidable opponent, whether or not the interior, which had always been their strength. And Patrick Mahomes had never had much pressure in his lap with Smith and Humphrey and Thuney, and whether or not you get a little bit loose over there. So they're really good at, they're a really good team. There's no way around that. At the same time, the whole, hey, let's crown them, you idiots. You should have never doubted them after a Pittsburgh game. It's kind of like one of those. Yeah, Pittsburgh's struggling, man. Baltimore hung 34 on them. Philly hung 27, and Kansas City got 29, and they couldn't score. So I say take that with a grain of salt. Look, are the Chargers going to – is it a coin flip game if they go into Kansas City off a wild card win? No, the Chiefs will be favored, but it's a divisional opponent that you play tough every time you see them, and you do have the edge rushers to take advantage of one of their weaknesses on offense, and you also have the best damn big nickel in the game that I would imagine, given a second chance, Jesse Minter would be like, yeah, Derwin, just go ahead and follow 87 around. Let's just go ahead and use you to erase him.
Right. And it's not a foregone conclusion. Can the Chargers beat Kansas City? Absolutely. Is Kansas City right now the team to beat? Yeah.
Yes.
But you look at Baltimore. Baltimore's playing good ball too. Baltimore.
They look really good.
Money, when you watch them, it's like, Josh Allen, he seems like he's doing it with less. And I'm tired of, I'm tired of giving it to, a guy who has more weapons. He has the best or the second best running back in the league. And you look at, and so it's like, God, are we going to do this again? Because when you think of just his numbers, what he has rushing, touchdown numbers, passing, I didn't know that his numbers, was
crazy.
Lamar's numbers are pretty crazy, but I just think that Josh still, to me, and even if Josh didn't get it, I think if some way the Cincinnati Bengals got in, I think you'd have to say, hey, look what he's done with that team too. So Lamar, just 3 times, I just think that it'd be a bit much when he hasn't won in the post game. I know it's MVP during the season, but it's going to be interesting. But I'm just happy the Chargers have punched their ticket tomorrow. Let's punch that ticket. You went and played a Denver team, and the way you won that game, the Harbaugh out-coached another great coach. To call timeout right before the half, you think, okay, what is he doing? It's 8 seconds. This isn't going to help. To call timeout and the knowledge to lean into the gunner, get the 15 yards. I didn't know what was taking place. Tell me your call, because it was, what was your call?
I'd tell you my call.
You didn't know what was going on either? Were you like –
Well, I did and I didn't. Like, I knew the fair catch and the free kick. We were on that. We were like, okay, with the 15 yards, you got a free kick. I did not know that you were kicking it from the spot free kick. I just assumed that you would have to snap the ball and kick it from, 8 yards back. So it was going to end up being a 65-yarder, not from the 47-yard line. I had no idea that you could just have the guy hold it right there. And that's so, I was off with that. I kept saying, oh boy, it's about 65-yarder. I've seen Cam do these in warmups, and I could see, with no pass rush. Yeah, you could see that happening.
Right.
Like, no, dude, it's a 57-yarder. It's like an extra point for Cam with no rush. You kidding me? I think I banged through from 70.
He had plenty of room on that.
Yeah, that part I was off on, but it was interesting. I was talking with one of the guys, this guy Joe, who works in in-game operations, and he was saying that he had seen it the year before in a high school championship game at zeros, end of the game, punter shanks a punt, kids signals for the fair catch at like the 32-yard line, and the punter's punting out of his own end zone. And in high school, they can kick off a tee. So they just put the tee right out there. Kid bangs it through with no rush on a free kick to win the game. I think he said it was Murrieta versus Chaparral or something like that. So it's funny to hear all but the thing with that play, Low, and I know it's so long ago because it was a Thursday night game, so I don't want to dig too deep into the Denver game. But like the thing with that play is you never know where the momentum's going to come from. And you're still down 8 points. The Broncos still scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. The running game was working. You forced the punt at the end of the half, which was great. You finally got that stop. But you could just see the smiles and the bounce, and everyone's like, can you believe that just happened? Like it was one of those sort of, it took the edge off how poorly they played in the first half before kind of getting it right there at the end of the first half with their 10 unanswered. Or their whatever it was, 13 unanswered.
13, yeah.
So, or whatever it was, 13. No, it wasn't unanswered. I'm sorry. It was 21. It was 7-7. And then anyway, but there was a little bounce in their step, and there was a little bit, and that was kind of the first touchdown drive too. So they go 3 and out. Denver runs it right down their throats, scores a touchdown. And what's the first play on the drive following? So they're down 7-0, 3 and out, touchdown. They've now allowed scores on 7 straight possessions. The last one in the first half against the Bucs, and all 5 in the second half, and now the first one against the Broncos. So 7 straight possessions they've allowed a score. And what's the first thing they do? Scott Matlock jukes a guy, trucks another guy,
right,
and everybody's freaking out. They're like bouncing around like, oh my, can you believe that? Matlock.
Big fella.
Exactly. And it kind of, those little, and so there's that play, there's the free kick, and then there was the first drive of the second half, so they're down 8, first drive of the second half of the Broncos. They score a field goal up 11. Chargers looking for the answer. And I go back to the first half, Low, when they had on that first field goal, when they were down 14-7, and we were looking to see if they could match them 14-14. They had a 3rd and inches, maybe this much, maybe, there we go. Yeah. Less than a football, and they didn't sneak it. They handed it to Gus, and he got tackled for a 2-yard loss. And I was saying, you know what, I get it. His ankle's not right. You don't want him pushing up against these 300-pound bodies, man. It may just, as much as you'd like him to do it, it just, you don't know the state of that ankle. And it's too early in the game to test it like that. I get it. And then in that third quarter, man, Herbert was just like, the hell with you guys. Same situation.
You know what? I'm quarterback thinking, forget it. No, Gus. Sorry.
Yeah. And he goes 16 yards, jukes a guy, stiff arms another guy, trucks another guy, and the whole sideline erupted on that first. And it's like, okay, Herb's back. Number 10 put on his cape. Let's go, man. Let's go for a ride. And that was 7:55 of the third quarter. And from that moment on, man, it was a buzzsaw defensively and offensively.
I couldn't believe it. It was to watch that game. I remember texting you like, man, this is what I wanted to see. It just, you saw this guy go on that booth and put on the cape and say, he's different. It was great because you hear all the commentators talking about this rookie quarterback and what Peyton Hillman's done. And like, okay, he gets outside the pocket. And it's like, oh, he could be. I'm like, no. And it just turned into Herbert saying, you know what? Okay, Bo Nix, I know you're there, but let me take this to the next level. Let me show you why I'm Justin Herbert. Let me show the league. Right. And the way that he just took over and just lifted every receiver, every tight end, the fullbacks, Medlock. He just said, I'm throwing the ball, I'm spreading the ball around. He stood in, he scrambled in the pocket, he made things happen with his legs. That was one of his finest hours. I think the biggest thing is just you did that. You're going to be playing against a team that's going to play hard. You understand they want to play, spoiler alert. This is about spoiler. You saw last night, Chicago Bears. You got it. You look at Seattle team that's got a chance to get in the playoffs, and they go and play in Chicago. And bad as Chicago is, this kid's getting sacks over 60 sometimes. They had a chance to beat Seattle. And Patriots are understanding their whole mantra, their whole mindset is said, let's play spoiler. Let's not let them punch their ticket in our stadium. That's all they can play for. So you're going to see a very inspired Patriot team, Drake May, quarterback who get it done. So this is that squeeze game for the Chargers. This is a game that you say, you know what, we pick up where we're left off, and let's show there's no doubt. Let's not leave any doubt in the playoffs of who's coming in the playoffs. The Chargers are here, and we're not going to digress. We're going to go out here and play Charger football and not give this team a chance to play spoiler alert. That's what I want to see. How you finish on a road, cold environment, weather elements, all those things. You don't have to win, but you need to win. You don't want to be put in the situation that Denver's in, that now they got to win and look for some help. They're in a must situation. You're not in that situation. You're in the driver's seat. You now ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You got the gun. Denver last week had the opportunity to punch their ticket, and now they're scrambling because you know what? They're going to have a tough road getting in the playoffs.
For me, it's, they got the bye, right? So you're on a mini bye. So it's, guys, you feel pretty good, right? Gave you the weekend off, right? You got Christmas Day off as well. So you're rested, but we got our work done. We know what's in front of us. This is a team that's coming off a really physical second half in a cold environment in Buffalo. Should be, everything's kind of lined up for us. JK's, I think, we'll see if JK plays. I think he's gonna. They activated him. He's kind of walking around with that bounce in his step. You can sort of see that it feels like he's vibing, like he's going to play in this game. And I think it's the way I would sell it is, you guys liked it, right? Felt pretty good. Lo, what I would do if I were coach is I look at the way this week laid out, right? They win the game on Thursday. Coach gives them the weekend off, says, I'll see you on Monday. They get Christmas Day off, and it's, hey, feels good, right? It's a mini bye. Your bye was back in week 4. The playoffs are coming up. You know how physical those games are going to be. You might have, as we discussed a little bit earlier, poorly, by the way, by me, but there could be an opportunity that they're locked in the 6. And you get this win against the Patriots this week, and there's an opportunity for a bye. There's an opportunity for Khalil and Joey and Justin with that ankle and Ladd with the shoulder and the knee. Like, just think about guys that are back. Maybe Disley can come back. You don't have to worry about playing him if he's just on the cusp. Same with the corners that are kind of banged up. Think of all the safety injuries, Lowe and Elijah, all that stuff. You can maybe give them a week off, but let's get this one in week 17. So week 18 is up again. It's up to us.
Right.
It doesn't have to be dictated by other people. It can be dictated by us, that we can decide to rest if we want to rest, and we're just comfortable going in as the 6th seed.
How did that work out, Money? You talked about coach saying, hey, see you Monday. So Thursday after the game, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, gave them off. Monday they came in, Monday, Tuesday, regular work. Tuesday was a full work day, I imagine, because you had those, usually your day off, but Tuesday you have to work. Wednesday, Christmas, was off the whole day, or they had to come in a half day?
I don't know. They may have come in a couple. I don't know exactly what it was. I don't know if he gave them Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. They may have come in Sunday, or they may have come in Friday and then they got Saturday, Sunday. I'm not sure how they did it. I know, but I do know there was a rest in there, that they wanted to treat it like a mini bye. Hey, and I think the thing with these guys is they
came in anyway. Man. Guys probably came in and got treatment anyway.
Yeah, they come in anyway and they get their treatment and they make sure their body's right.
And you guys traveled. And you guys traveled yesterday or today?
Thursday. Yeah, we traveled Thursday midday. Got in late. Got in at like 10:30. All day Friday to chill and do your walkthrough, get used to the cold. Get out there in those 25-degree the temperatures. I think it was 20 this morning when I woke up. Right now it is 34 degrees outside. I think tomorrow's supposed to be freezing rain. It's not cold enough for snow, so I think it's going to be wet and nasty. So I think it's important, while we can kind of discuss all the off the field stuff, the on the field stuff, like, here's my number one concern with this team, Lo, would just be run defense. When they've been able to stop the run, they've been able to dominate the game defensively. When the run has taken advantage of them, for the most part, you look at this season, right? Arizona, Baltimore, first half of that Denver game. When you start going through those games, that's when they were giving up 5 yards per carry. That's when they're giving up, third down conversions, because it's all 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 1s. And Pittsburgh, remember Najee started running the ball really well in that second half when they pulled away in that game. Connor was a force in the Arizona game. They lost 17-15. Tampa, look at Tampa. My God, Rachaad White and Bucky Irvin went crazy on him. Bucky had that 54-yard run. So with the Patriots, they've been running the ball really well as of late. Last week, 4.2 per carry. Week before against Miami, 4.8 per carry. Week before against Arizona, 6.2 per carry. They got two backs, Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, that can really run at their physical gap scheme runners. And I think
They muddy it up. They muddy the
yeah,
water. They're a physical team, exactly what you're laying out. They want to be physical. They want to try to not make a lot of mistakes. They try to drag you down in the mud, and they try to capitalize on mistakes. They know they're not a team that's going to go out and hang up 40 burger on your 30 burger. They're saying, look, let's play field position. Let's run the ball. Let's make this game. Let's slow it down. Ball control. Let's make these teams have to get out of character. That's what it is. They kind of play like the Chargers in a sense. They try to be high efficiency, play action, trying to do those things. They don't have the horses and the weapons that the Chargers have. But this is a team. Yeah, it's not a team that's better than the Chargers. We get it. But they are disciplined. They are a physical type of team. That's what they want to do, and they try to predicate on not making a lot of mistakes. They do make mistakes, but it's just going to be interesting how the Chargers take care of business. This is a game you need to win. It's a game you should win. Go take care of business. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to be an ugly win, but you can take care of it.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how they play it too, because they've played a lot of man. They do not have a good pass rush. It's one of the lowest pass rush win rates in the league. I think it's like 29%, something along those lines. It might be 21%. It's really low though. But they blitz a lot. At least they were blitzing a lot. They do have a number one corner in Christian Gonzalez. I'll be anxious to see if he, gets in the slot, and because that's where Ladd has done most of his work out of. If they just have him take on Ladd, I don't know if that's how they'll do it. I don't think he's done that all year. But I think Marcus Jones is out, so their nickel is out, and so to me that's sort of the offensive matchup for the Chargers, right? When you look at everything here, when you look at Herbert, when he has, where is it? Darn it, I thought I had it. I know when he's not pressured, he has got his numbers are ridiculous. Here we go. Versus zone. 72% completion rate, 8.4 yards per attempt with a QB rating of 110 versus man, 48%, 5.9 yards per attempt, a rating of 74.7. So there's been a big difference between zone and man, and that's not Herbert. It's the receivers that just have not been able to get open against man coverage. And, the Patriots play a lot of man. Now, at the same time, they've not been able to get home. So then you get in the whole pressure rates. And when he's not pressured, man, he tears teams apart. I think he's number 2 in the league when not pressured in QB ratings, in touchdown rate, and yards per attempt, and all of it. I wish I had it in front of me. My apologies. I thought I had it on the sheet. But, here it is. 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions when not pressured, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions under pressure. He is the only quarterback with 0 interceptions when he is not pressured.
Wow.
So, and you're going up against a Patriots team, 29.7% pressure rate, 4th lowest in the NFL. So it lines up for Herbert to be able to get some damage done. And that's the other thing about last week, Lo, that I think is great to carry over. 10 different receivers, man. 10. Not 7, not 8, 10. Tucker Fisk, Hayden Hurst, Scott Matlock, Gus Edwards out of the backfield. Of course, all your other receivers in Johnston, McConkey, Palmer, of course, all those guys. Stone Smart with 50 yards of receiving. Like, dude, it was everything and everyone, and it was reminiscent of 2020 Herbert when he made, for Charger fans, household names out of Jalen Guyton and T. Billy and guys like that.
I thought Palmer in the catch in the end zone get tips.
Oh,
was that not spectacular? Took that catch to focus, but Herbert to gun it in there, double tap, catch it twice, and taps it to himself and makes that catch. Palmer is playing with control. I'm watching these guys, and early in the year you watch them, man, they're just fighting and just grinding, trying to make a catch. The ball's your friend. You watch Palmer, it seems like he's just getting open, sitting in these zones, body control, looking good. Starting to see these receivers round out, play calm, play under control, very poised. That's a good thing. That's why this team that you're playing this week, I want to see, can you put them away? The biggest thing is this: you want to come out healthy. You want guys like this. Is the weather is cold, different elements. That's why you got to go out there and squeeze these guys. You don't want them saying, "Okay, we're trying to stick around." This is a game that hey, look, go out there, Take care of business. Don't let them stick around. Guys start to play tight and you start playing. No, man, you're better than this team. Yes, the weather is going to be a factor. We get that. But you're on a different trajectory right now. This team is going to try to muddy the waters. You go out here, you're going to have the opportunity to have some big plays. You know Herbert, the big arm, receivers, guys can get open. You're going to have a chance to separate yourself this game. You need to do that. I just don't want this game to get mucky, and I just don't want guys to get injured. You know that right now this team is getting back full strength. That's what you want. You don't want Herbert having any more setbacks because you're getting ready to go into these playoffs, and you want to be humming.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one, we know how special he is, but I do think, especially after the Thursday night game and hearing Sean Payton talk about how they did a poor job of controlling him until they had kind of managed to sort of slow him down a little bit. Ladd McConkey's finally getting a lot of, the attention he deserves, the flowers he deserves. Like some of the numbers, I mean, he's going to break Keenan Allen's rookie record. That's done for the most part, as long as he stays healthy over these last 2 in plays. He's got 69 catches. Allen had 71 for the Charger rookie record. He's got 960 yards. He's 86 shy of Keenan's 1,046. And he's fourth in receptions for rookies, fourth in yards for rookies, basically behind Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas. He's second in yards per reception, and he is first in first down percentage on catches. And on top of all that, he has got the most receiving yards on crossers of any player in the NFL. So G-Ro's been able to scheme him up, get him in the right positions to take advantage of his strengths. And I want to make sure I might have put it on the sticker for the board. So let me just make sure I got this right, because I think I did. Yeah. He has got at least 50 receiving yards in his last 8 games. Since 1970, only Odell Beckham Jr. has had a longer streak as a rookie of consecutive 50-yard games. He had 9. Outside of that, so if he gets over 50 yards in this game against the Pats, he's going to tie Beckham, and he's got a chance to break that record. Like, that's how good he's been. His rookie season is the 9th pass catcher taken in the draft.
I tell you, they found a diamond. They found a jewel. When you watch McConkey, his route running, his ability to get open, and especially he kills the middle of the field. I love him working the middle of the field. You get his guy in space, or he's running through zones. It's just it's poetry. Why are you like? Is this guy really doing it? He knows how to find the window. He can run by guys. He just knows where to be when Herbert needs him the most. So I love what this guy's doing. And when he's in the slot, he is a machine. He's a first down catching machine. He can stretch the field. It's nothing that this guy can't do. He has the speed to leave you. He can outrun you. He can beat you to the flat. He can beat you to the spot. He gets in and out of breaks. He knows how to get down. This guy is really, you talked about him a lot and saying, okay, this guy's going to emerge. And I'm telling you, he has not disappointed the fans and anyone at all. Actually, he's exceeded my expectations.
Well, I'll tell you who really doesn't want to see him, and that's Elliott Wolf, the general manager of the Patriots. Because last year, the Chargers traded the 37th pick and the 110th pick to the Patriots for the 34th pick and the 137th pick. So they jump up 3 spots in the second round to select Ladd McConkey. They drop 27 spots in the 5th round. So they take Ladd. The Patriots take a receiver. They take Jalen Polk at 37. So they clearly wanted a receiver. They could have stuck and taken Ladd McConkey. They take Jalen Polk. Jalen on the season has 10 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
It gets better. With the 110th pick, they took another receiver, Javon Baker. Javon Baker has 2 targets and 0 receptions this year. So between them, the only production they have is what Jalen Polk has. It gets better. But wait, there's more.
Wow.
With the 137th pick in the 5th round, who did the Chargers take? Tarheeb Still.
Oh.
So they got a starting corner who is the highest graded corner on their team with 4 interceptions, a pick 6, countless. You had that huge breakup on the left sideline of Jamar Chase in the Bengals game late. That's Ladd McConkey and Tarheeb Still for Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. to move up 3 spots in the second round and drop 27 in the 5th. How about that?
You winning. You won big time. Those two guys, and I'm not trying to be a homer, and you tell me, they're playing. If you look at their productivity, those two guys you just mentioned, Still and McConkey, both those two guys, I could say you can make an argument that they're playing better than guys in the first round. I would say they're playing. You would say both those guys could have been a top 30 pick with the production that they've got. You can't show me the top 10, 15, 20, excluding quarterbacks, what they're doing. Is there anybody better than those two guys? Any two rookie? Is there a rookie corner with a pick six? All the breakups that this guy's. I think that you have
Well, you
to
got
say
the corners in Philly who are really good. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon. Quinyon Mitchell's been incredible. He's been fantastic. Terrion Arnold's been good. But your point, it's a great point, though. I'll tell you right now, Target still ain't a 5th rounder. Ain't no way he's a 5th rounder. You're talking about a guy that should be based on production, the way he's playing, how comfortable he looks
the way
out there.
They're playing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they're putting up first round or higher, quality of play. That's what I'm looking at.
No doubt about it.
It's amazing.
No doubt about it. And it's all thanks to the Patriots trading out of a spot and still taking a wide receiver just so they can move up 27 spots in the 5th round. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, why? And look, everybody grades it differently. You never know how these guys are going to turn out. Ladd did not slip because people didn't believe in his ability. He slipped because they were concerned about the size and the injuries. Right. That's it.
Right.
If Ladd has that same production and he never got hurt a single time at Georgia, he's going in the top 20. That guy's going top 25 without a question. But that was just the one issue that they were concerned about was size. Is he going to be able to run over the middle and take the pounding? And so far, the answer for the most part has been yes. He had to miss a game. But outside of that, it's Julian Edelman, man. There's some guys that can just do it. They can do it. They know how to not get hit. They know how to get down. They know how to wheel out of routes so you're not getting direct shots at them. And Edelman made a career out of it. And a Super Bowl MVP out of it. And I have no doubt that Ladd can have a very similar career. And while he's not what you envision in a prototypical number one, I absolutely think he could be the most productive receiver in your offense, and you can have an elite offense in the NFL.
Oh, without a doubt, he will. He is going to develop to a top tier receiver, and he's already shown that he's one of the best receivers in this league as a rookie. So just 1 year, I know his body of work, you can't just crown him. He's got to continue to grow and progress, which I think he will. But this guy, him and Herbert, they're going to have a long career together because it goes together and it matches. And both these guys are on the same page. As I digress, I know we got to get out of here, but I was happy to see Gus. I was happy to see the running game.
Yeah.
I was happy to see here's a back that everyone's saying, okay, can't run in between tackles. It's not as physical. And Thursday, he put on his pads, his Superman cape as well, and came out, watched that run to ice the game. That was one of the most physical run, stiff warming guys, running guys over. I mean, it was needed.
Yeah.
The running game, you and I talked about, it's been stifled. It hasn't been great. I thought the running game really, really took a step in the right direction. And, oh, by the way, helps on the way this week.
Well, look, they stuck with it. It wasn't – look, Gus had, 14 for 68. One of those was 43. So you take that out, and he's got 13 for 25.
Right.
13 carries for 25, less than 2 yards per carry. But when you stick with it, that's how you tenderize the meat. And sooner or later, that's when it pops, man. That's when Kamani Vidal can pop one. He's got 5 carries for 24 yards, right? 5 for 24. You take out the 19-yard run, and he's got 4 for 5. But 19-yard run was a monster. And it's like, that's it. They ran it 28 times. Herbert ran it 8 times. 28 runs, 31 passes. That's Charger football. Cannot be Tampa. And I know you got down big, so you started throwing it around. But you can't have 11 rushes in a game.
No.
And I think I give Coach G real credit. Like, hey, man, it's not We're not popping it yet, but just keep handing the ball to him. Keep handing, Justin's using his legs now. We got to stick with it. Sooner or later, it's going to go. And there it was. And that's what we would see with Dobbins.
Yep.
It's not like Dobbins was ripping off 8 yards
No.
here, or 12 yards. No, it'd be threes, fours. Here's a 5. Here's a 2. Bang. Here's a 21. Bang. Here's a 40. And that's the
Right.
way that it was working.
The consistency. And that's what this Charger team is what I've seen. I've seen if you run the ball 25 times or more, and you can have 110 to 112, if you can get over that 110 mark rushing, this is a hard team to beat. Because if you run the ball 20, 28, 25, 30 times a game, that means you've been grinding. That means, okay, 5, 10, like you said, 3 yards, 2 yards. If you get over 100 and 200 yards, Justin's probably got 250. It's a hard out because that means they've been grinding and they're working. That's this thing. If you can show that continuity and that consistency and the commitment and run, it's hard to beat this team. You go look and see every time they're over 100 yards rushing, this team usually wins ball games.
Yeah, no doubt. No, and and the flip side of that is low. Got to stop the run because that's how this team wins football games. When they stop the run, defense has allowed 20 or fewer in each of their 7 road games, and they've been pretty darn good at slowing down that run. Like we said, the 2 that got them on the road, Arizona, a loss 17-15, and Pittsburgh when Najee started getting after it a little bit in the second half. So
there we go.
Here we go. It's just trying to see if I got anything else I'm going to use in the game tomorrow that people might find interesting. I think we kind of got most of it. Here we go. Here's the last one. Our man, Coach Harbaugh. If he wins, he becomes the 5th coach in NFL history with 10 or more wins in his first season with 2 different teams.
Wow.
Coach Caldwell with the Lions and Colts. Wade Phillips did it with the Bills and the Cowboys. Dan Reeves with the Broncos and the Falcons, and a dude by the name of Guy Chamberlain. Although it was the 1920s, for all I know, his name could have been Guy. The 1920s Bulldogs and Yellow Jackets. And then he would be, if he wins on Saturday, the 8th coach to make the playoffs in his first season with 2 different teams. Wow. Again, Wade Phillips, Jim Caldwell, Pete Carroll, Herm Edwards, Bobby Ross, the great Bobby Ross, Chuck Knox, and Sid Gilman. So there you go.
He's in some great company, and we can't say enough about this coach. What he's done,
it's been great.
He turned this place around, good, bad, or indifferent. People love him, people hate him, but Harbaugh is the right guy for the job. And like he says, who has it better than us? Nobody.
All right, everybody, let's get you a victory. Late Christmas gift.
Honey, I got to get one of those lids. Thanks. I'm going to go get one of those.
Exactly right. All right, Lo. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and you're having a great. If you're still doing Hanukkah, hope Hanukkah's going great. Enjoy Kwanzaa, the new year. Hanukkah. Be safe, Kwanzaa. Be safe, everybody. Boxing Day. That was yesterday. All that fun stuff. But let's talk about a win next week back at our regularly scheduled time going into a regularly scheduled Raider week. Should be great.
You're the best. Cheers, guys. Merry Christmas.